So today, let's do a public fortune telling. The theme is to silently think of a person's name and see if they will confess to you actively. Please calm down, everyone, and contemplate this issue in your heart. Then, based on your instinct, choose the card that resonates with you the most from the three below. First, let's look at the first group. Looking at the whole group of cards, I feel that he will confess to you, but he might not take the initiative and tell you explicitly that he loves you. Then he might use his own way, which is to tell you ambiguously. Let's look at this Monument 7. I think the relationship between you two now is, what I have to say is I'm speechless. You would feel that sometimes your relationship is actually quite good, and the chat is also very enjoyable. But suddenly, you both might lose contact and the relationship becomes distant, cold, and inconsistent. Looking at the energy of this set of cards, it is somewhat passive. Then he may feel uncertain about what you really think. And your heart, you might also be wondering what he really thinks. Sometimes the two of you will have a little disagreement. For example, sometimes you purposely ignore their messages to see if they will take the initiative to contact you, or pretend to treat the other person as a regular friend and see how they react. Both people will behave this way. Then the Moon card appears. I think he's just silently liking you. This state might continue, but more often, it's about silently liking and paying attention to you in the background. When we look at this wand, what can be seen is that he actually feels quite a lot of pressure. I feel his passion towards you is quite significant, but he completely suppresses these feelings on purpose. He dares not express them. Maybe because he's afraid that if he expresses his feelings, the two of you won't even be able to remain friends, especially with your ambiguous attitude. There will be some ambiguity that makes it unclear what you are thinking in your heart. Actually, this matter has put a lot of pressure on him. He always thinks about it, and then it's really very distressing. But he can't suppress his affection for you, so it slowly blossoms. He will eventually find it unbearable to hide his affection for you, and then start to approach you with great caution. So I think he'll still confess to you, but he'll try to test you in a subtle way to see what you think. For example, he might say it in a joking tone, then immediately change the topic. Even pretending not to care will make you very upset. I think he's actually worried and scared inside. So for this group of babies, my suggestion is to be more proactive when they bring up this topic. He is forced to expose your issue, can't avoid it. Perhaps in this way we may become a couple. Right? Well, the above is my advice for this deck of cards, friends. Next, let's look at the second group. The result of this group of cards may not be a confession to you in the near future. Looking at the upright position of the precious sword 9, I feel your affection for him. This kind of secret love might make you feel extremely sad inside, because they may have never responded to you with much enthusiasm. It can make you feel that this unrequited love is really painful for you. It seems that no matter what you do, you feel that the other person can't see you, which makes you restless and unable to sleep. Looking at the current state, the appearance of a guard king can be seen. He is the type of person who is more calm and not very good at communicating, but it is really very excellent, which will make you particularly like it. He is also a very rational person. No matter what he does, he always considers the current state. As for future plans, he needs to confirm. He will definitely want to make sure the two of you have a future. She will only take this step if she is sure that you also genuinely care for her and that it's a long-term commitment. Coffee. So he won't confess to you intimately. He is very straightforward in dealing with problems. After a long time of getting along with you, he can be sure that you are the one he wants. He will only take action if there are no worries or risks when you are together. So it's possible that he is still in a state of suppressing himself, not letting his emotions breathe freely. It's also about considering the relationship between you two. So we look, and then the next one is a trend of kindness, which is also a relatively stable and passive card, but saying he really likes the lady, although he won't take any initiative now. But he still wants to get close to you, and in the future, you can promote such a relationship. However, this requires a process, and this process will be a bit slower. So he won't confess his feelings in the near or short term. So this is my interpretation of this deck of cards. Finally, let's take a look at the third set of cards, that is, the state of the cards. I see that both of you have been communicating a lot recently, and every time you're together, the conversation is always relaxed and enjoyable, and you both seem very happy. There will be a lot of common topics to talk about, not necessarily anything special. Just asking, hey, what are you doing? Or what are you eating tonight? He will find such topics to chat with you. So what I see is he actually feels a strong connection with you. He thinks he's very in tune with you. He likes you very much. But why hasn't he confessed to us? I think he's deliberately suppressing his feelings for you now, which we can tell from Chen Zhangwu. There is a conflict going on. I don't know if there are some mismatched conditions at the moment, such as some academic or work-related pressures. They might also be two people living in different places. So from this card, I feel that there are some unsupportive factors in your current environment. Or there might be some things that put pressure on you. Actually, he cares about you very much in his heart. He really wants to confess to you. However, there may be some inappropriate things that are currently constraining it. Or perhaps he actually doesn't know your real thoughts about him. And the interactions between you sometimes can be sweet and at times hot and cold. It's such a contradiction in his heart, isn't it? He doesn't know if this is the way you want him to be. Then he would also be afraid that he might not do well enough. There are too many thoughts inside him. He is constantly struggling and pulling inside his heart. He is lacking some sense of security in his heart, but he really likes Nia. So that's why he thinks so much. But we saw a tower card appear in the azure, so he must have confessed to you. And this confession came out of nowhere. It might be due to some coincidences, or maybe something happened. And under those circumstances, he had to confess his feelings to you. Well, you must have accepted his confession in a totally unexpected scene or time, so to speak. Well, it's a bit of a roundabout way, but I'm sure it's possible. You get the result that you want this way. Good, really good, very good. Bless those who choose this brand. Well, my throat is not very comfortable today, so the video recorded is. The effect might not be very good, but I wanted to give you a gift for Valentine's Day. So I hurriedly recorded it when it went live today. Hope everyone has a happy Valentine's Day.